couple hours ago, and in my last video I meant today, not tomorrow, because yeah, it's past midnight, and it's actually kind of early. Like, I'm pretty sure it's like, I haven't looked at it, but I got up at like 5:15, 5:30, so I'm sure it's like 6 something now. So I made a video about telepathic pay, and if you watch my prior videos, I made the different types of money, because people couldn't comprehend that when people like scream money or whatever, like, because people think if you're black and you're bad, people can rob you, and they can't, you know. And so I'm just really annoyed, you know. So I'm just like, okay, if you work someplace, you have to get paid, no matter what. If you go around putting people down, you still get paid. It has nothing to do with the fact of you putting people down. It's the fact of you doing your job. You know, like, you show up and you do your job. What you do behind closed doors, that's a whole nother thing. And if they want to pay you for that, that's another thing. But that's something else that you have to deal with, you know. And so I was just like really annoyed, because I'm like, your paycheck should not get involved whatsoever, you know. And so I just like got really annoyed. And then they're like, and then I was like trying to open up tech stores in town or in the city, and I was like fighting with that. And people had to like figure out, like, once the tech store opens up, you know, you have to pay for the services, you know, or gadgets or whatever it is, and how are they gonna do it, you know. That's my thing. It's like, so I made a whole bunch of videos about different types of money, like orange money, yellow money, green money, red money, blue money, and all that stuff. But like, now we all agreed that tech stores are not going to open up. They're going to open up this like museum and maybe throw me in it. And I'm just like, I'm just a regular citizen. But, and that's like one of the main reasons why I want to go today to that thing, to the case thing, is because I'm really heartbroken that this whole entire town, like, scheduled on opening, wasting a ton of money that I don't even know where all this money's coming from, you know, to open these things that, like, some things, like, we're opening a movie theater, like a new movie theater. I'm really excited about it, but the fact that it's like, how does the city get the funds for it? That's what I don't understand, you know. I'm really excited about it, but how do we pay for these things, you know? But then this like science museum, I'm really upset about, because they're spending a whole bunch of money. It's the same thing as this like AI plant that's gonna be opening up. I don't get that either. It is what it is. But COVID happened. Everybody got chipped, one way or another. I have a special chip, but it's really not that special, you know. Yeah. And so my thing is money. Like, it's really just energy. So like, if you take away the tech store, because we're not opening up tech stores anymore, you know, we have this so we can't we can't say blue money anymore, because it's blue, like, and the thing is, like, it's currency, so it's a way of like trading. So like, you can do like, we can go way back in the olden days of like when we didn't have like a lot of universal way of trading something, you know. It's easier, you know, like, so like, let's do coffee versus like eggs. I don't want to do eggs and coffee, and so yeah, let's do milk and eggs, because the guy shows up with milk, you know, and it's like a daily thing, you know. So you have chickens, they lay eggs. There's another farmer who has a cow, and he gets milk from it, you know. You go up and you're like, we both need eggs and milk to survive, you know. And they're like, how many eggs will you give me for a gallon of milk? and then you guys decide on that. That's currency. So, but the thing is, there's some things like, so, blankets. I have a blanket, you know, and so not everybody needs blankets all the time. So this farmer has eggs. Another farmer has milk. Another farmer sells blankets. The person that sells blankets, they're going to need a lot more eggs to survive than blankets. And the person who has eggs can't keep on buying blankets every single day, because then they just get too many blankets. And then they have to start selling the blankets that they buy. And that's how stores open up. But the thing is, if a person needs eggs, then the person who sells blankets need to find something else. So like they could go and find the person who sells the milk. Take the milk, you know, sell them some blankets or a blanket to get some milk, and then they can get the milk, and then they can sell it to the person with the farmer who sells eggs to get eggs. You know, it's all connected, you know, because we don't need a whole bunch of blankets, but we need eggs and milk on a daily basis way back in the day, because we didn't have all the, like, especially if you lived way up north, we don't have fruits and vegetables that grow all year long. We just don't. We really don't, you know. And way back in the day, we didn't have electric, so we can't grow stuff inside either, you know. So you sell canned stuff, but even if you sell canned stuff, so the thing is, if you sell canned stuff, you're the egg person, you know, you're the person that sells eggs, you need to go and buy seeds, and then so you buy those seeds, you know. But if you are the person who sells blankets and you want to buy seeds, they might not want to buy your blankets, you know, because you don't need blankets, but you need eggs. There's a difference, you know. And so, and that's how I made up the Pink Society, is imagine if you sold blankets. You know, the person who sells eggs don't need to buy you blankets. They can make their own blankets if they really want. If they had sheep or cotton, they can make their own blankets. They don't need to buy your blankets. They don't need your blankets whatsoever. You know, so you are the person who has a blanket and you want to sell this blanket. Nobody needs to buy your blanket. So how do you do it? You know, you can give it away, you can try it, you can test it, or you can try to like sell it. Then you have to get into like advertisement and stuff like that, on convincing them that your blanket's better than their homemade blanket or the blanket that they get from the milk guy, you know, the milk girl. It doesn't have to be a guy. But, and so the thing is, sometimes when you sell blankets, you want to give them like a little sample of it to feel the fabric and stuff like that. And then like, oh, I really like the fabric. This is cool. Maybe I will actually buy the blanket now, you know? Or they get the fabric and they're like, oh, I don't like the texture of it. I don't like whatever it is, so they don't want to buy it. But now you're like, and that's how different colors of money happened. But the thing is, now we're not opening textures up. So let's pretend that the blanket is blue money, you know? So it's like, so you have blue money, you know, and you don't know what to do with it, you know, but you're the person who has the eggs. So you can live without blankets and you can make your own blankets. You don't need to buy the blankets, you know. And so you're like over here, you're like, well, I don't have a use for this blanket now. I'm not going to buy this blanket. The end. So it's basically, we're not opening textures, so we don't need the blue energy anymore. So, or blue money, but it's not blue money because they don't make a profit off of it. It's literally blue energy. We don't need blue energy anymore because we don't want textures. That's Tracy's mindset. But there's a lot of people who want blue energy and blue money and not go anyplace. But how do you manage that? That's what Tracy struggles with, telepathic pay. Is that, but if you do that, you still need to sign paperwork. So, taxes. Because if you spend money on blue energy, you have to report it in to the government. And so when you file, you have to get a W-2 or a 1020, I think it's called, on all the money you spent on your blue energy. So when you file your taxes, you have that. So yeah, so but I'm just a random person on YouTube. So I'm sure you can find more videos of this stuff with other people too that can go in depth about all that stuff. So don't take my advice too serious, but it's about, yeah. So talk to you guys later.